And I know that you're not used to seeing me go live on these channels at this time, but I have a very special guest that I want to introduce to you. This is a friend and colleague who is an attorney and an arbitrator. He's also Ukrainian, originally from Odessa. And I would like to ask Pavlo to just have a conversation with all of us about how we, as mediators, arbitrators, attorneys, and peacekeepers, can support his friends, family, neighbors, and colleagues in Ukraine. Hello, Pavlo. Thank you for joining me.
Hello, Natalie. Thank you for inviting. It's my pleasure to be in here now, and I'm honored to speak up with you through these channels and through all the people who listen it now.
Yeah. Well, first, I think I can speak for the vast majority of humanity when I say it's a terrible tragedy what's happening in Ukraine. It's a beautiful country, beautiful culture, lovely people, really good food. And it's just a terrible, terrible shame what's happening there. And I know that a lot of us feel a bit lost. We're not really sure how to help. We're not really sure what to do. And I know that you're from Odessa. You were maybe considered lucky enough to have been taking the bar exam in New York when your country was invaded, and that now you are sheltering in place in Dublin, Ireland, and that you're working tirelessly from Dublin. But I was hoping that maybe you could talk to us about what's happening and maybe give us some idea about how just regular, mediators, arbitrators, and attorneys around the world can support Ukrainians.
Yep. Thank you, Natalie. Thanks, everyone. First of all, from the world who's already helped, and considering to help, because every action, every little help, even every minute spent by someone to share the information to support Ukraine is really matters, because Ukrainian people now are staying very strong and united as never before. Like, we personally know that we used to live for years under threat, but no one from us would even imagine that this would really happen. Me, when I was going to sit for my New York bar exam, also did not expect that this would happen. We had some ominous signs, but we were expecting that, like, okay, this kind of political game, which would not turn into real war and conflict, which is happening right now. That's why, um, on one hand, it's so unexpected, but on the other hand, Ukrainians are very organized, very united. Like, my colleagues, my friends who are now stayed in Ukraine or were not able to leave our Ukraine, some of them are fighting with the military or joint territorial defense forces, and uh, other working as a volunteers to help, to provide supplies, to donate blood, to provide logistics, to help refugees. To There is real campaign and real unity as never before happening. Each of Ukrainian, even those who did not feel before, now uncovered their Ukrainian and they identity and staying together with Ukraine, uh, because this is our home, this is our families, this is our homeland, this is places with which we had lots of connections, and this is really important for us. So in terms of what is really happening now, it's uh, every day we have a conversation, or we are texting our friends, our families, and we get used to words like it's relatively safe, because there is no safe place when there is imminent danger, or there is constant risk of the bombing or aircraft attacks from the from the airspace by Russian military. So that's why, like, we are on constant danger and constant alert. but we're trying to do as much as we can. Those who are inside on the ground, those who are in more safer place in bomb shelters, or those who, as me, happen to be outside of Ukraine, except we far or we are covered, but we still do some lots of work helping remotely by information campaigns and so on and so forth. And every day I receive lots of messages from friends over the world, from colleagues, asking how they can help, what they can do to help. So there are several ways each of us who's even not in Ukraine can help and do something. So the first one is you can share a message and information about what is going on in Ukraine and what is happening. Natalie, if you'd be so kind, could you put first Google Doc link in our chat? Yeah, so that's it. This is Google document file in various languages, which been put together by volunteers, and it's updated each time. The general purpose of this file, has messages about what is going on in Ukraine and how everyone could help in Ukraine in different languages. So if you wish to support Ukraine informationally, please share this message in your social media or in channels you feel appropriate. The volunteers are spending their time to make it relevant to what is going on right now and to translate in various languages of the world. Because what is going on now in Ukraine, it's a full-scale invasion by Russian forces and war making over Ukrainian people right now. There is constant bombing of civilian objects, shelling, missile and rockets attacks happening in various cities of Ukraine. There is humanitarian catastrophe that happening in those cities which are tightly closed by Russian forces. They're like attacking hospitals, civilians who are trying to escape. There were numerous reports of firing and shelling over ambulances. So 2 days ago, they attacked the, uh, the, 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 the the hospital for children and where the women give birth to children. It's maternity home. And there is like lots of things which like for me who learn principles of international law, humanitarian law, are inexplainable, but happening. And even like during recent talks, Russian Minister of Foreign Affairs Lavrov, he said that was not an accident, that they intentionally fired over maternity home. But that's only like couple of examples. There's much more examples. During recent days, there would been put a green corridors or humanitarian corridor for the people be able to escape their cities and live safely. But still, there were reports that the evacuation stopped or being under danger because of the shootings happening from the Russian side of these places. So please share information on what's going on. Go to this Google document, find the message. You can edit, amend this message as you wish. You can put hashtag stand with Ukraine, support Ukraine in your social media, and you would find other messages of what's going on, and you could choose what's appropriate, what you believe necessary to share. Because even small part of this message, which would go would help, because we've been not only on the physical war, it's hybrid war, it's informational manipulation and fake news that massively happening from the Russian side. So they call black as white, and they want people to believe it. So the more verified information is shared, the better. So please share, please do it. There's other way uh, how people can support Ukraine. It's supporting various organizations and charities. Could you please, Natalie, put the third link? It starts with how to help Ukraine. So it's a one-pager website which being created by other Ukrainian NGOs, showing various ways how foreigners or people outside of Ukraine could support Ukraine. So You could donate money to charities you want. There is like the donation to support Ukrainian army. If you don't want to do it, or for other reasons you're not comfortable, don't know, there is options to send humanitarian supplies. There is Red Cross Society. There is charity that help children, help mothers, and even the charities which help pets that are also left in danger in Ukraine. So please do this. There is options for you to do other ways of alternative ways of support. There is on the website that Natalie just put, which help Ukraine. There is a links to organized protests and marches that happening through the cities of the world. You can freely join this march. You can text your MPs and your governors, your members of parliament, your senators, congressmen, depending on when you are. Just sending them a message that you want to support Ukraine and asking them how they support, uh, because that would put them in charge because you voted for them and they are responsible not for me as a Ukrainian, they are responsible for you as the citizens of your municipality and your city. So uh, free to text them. More people text, the more happening. Uh, Actually, I don't know, Natalie, is it been put online or no? Oh, yeah, that's it. And the one before, which is called "How to Help Ukraine Now." So
Okay. And
yeah.
Pavlo, does it help? I mean, in
Hmm.
my little village here in Normandy,
Yeah.
we've put up Ukrainian flags in the city center. I've got my Ukrainian blue sweater.
Yeah.
Um, we put up our posts on social media.
Hmm.
We have these kinds of conversation. Are these are these just empty gestures to make us feel better, or do they actually help the global movement to support
Uh,
Ukraine?
like a couple of years ago, when I used to travel to various countries, sometimes I've been put in situation where people ask, "Where are you from?" I say, "I'm from Ukraine." So, and the response, that was not always, but time to time, I used to hear that like, "Ukraine, where is it? Is it part of Russia? Is it in Russia or so on?" So they're like the one thing we know, we achieved now, that more people in the world know that Ukraine is not Russia, that it's independent, sovereign state located in Eastern Europe on the shores of Black Sea. So I believe that like the more Ukrainian flags, more messages are spread out over the world, the better, because more people are informed that Ukraine is different. Ukrainian people has a spirit of freedom, and for like thousands of years, since the beginning of the Ukrainian history, we always fought and stand for our independence and for our sovereignty, and we are now in this fight for Ukrainian sovereignty and for being able to express our identity as a Ukrainian. So the words are matters, the flags are also matter, because this is a moment when the people understand the Ukraine is different. This is a moment when we as Ukrainians feel cheered up that we are not alone, because the most scary thing for Ukrainian people now is to be put alone with the second largest army in the world. That's why all this is important, because it's fights for our lives, for our land, but it's also fight for our hearts and minds. That's why it's important. So if the least you could do is to talk, to post a message on social media, or to put a flag on your window, that's also important. If you can do more, it's not always should be financial support. Any support you could provide. I receive lots of messages from lawyers all over the world saying, "Hey, if you are need a shelter, if you need some kind of help, please feel free to contact us. We would be happy to shelter you, your friends, your family, and everyone. So there is, like, this theory um, of uh, that every little action creates a united effort that makes a huge and even global impact. That's why every little action, little conversation, little post in social media, little donation, little words of support is very helpful. I work at the regional international law firm. We have offices in 10 in 10 countries, mostly in Eastern and Central Europe, and lots of our colleagues being like in Hungary, in Poland, in Romania, in Czech Republic, meeting refugees, helping Ukrainian refugees, mostly elderly people, mothers with children, crossing the border to be sheltered, to find first response and support. And the friend recently sent me a picture of railway station in Poland where Polish mothers left strollers on the platform. So the Ukrainian mothers with the children, when they come there, so they be able to put their children in strollers. So it's also very important and very supportive. So
Yeah.
I believe that in this situation there is lots of things that could be done, but each of us doing own part, how they
Yes.
can help, and
And
Ukrainian people really appreciate every help they receive now.
well, it is our human obligation to help when we can. And I know that for each person watching, there is something that they are passionate about that Ukrainians are also passionate about. And you are exactly right. It could be the cats and dogs who got left and couldn't go with their families. It's wives being separated from husbands. It's parents being separated from children. It is young people being separated from their elders. It's people being displaced from their schools and their jobs. It's so many different aspects of atrocity that, if you're watching this and you're inclined, click on these links and you'll find something that aligns with one of your passions, and be able to make a contribution, large or small, however you see fit. And Pavlo is right. Even if you can't make any contribution, you can share, you can post, you can communicate, which is something that our industry is really good at doing. Mediators, arbitrators, and attorneys are really good at collectively being a strong voice. Well, Pavlo, thank you so much for spending
Thank
some
you.
time and shedding some light on the situation. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Of course, I wish you absolutely nothing but peace and safety for you, your family, your friends, your colleagues, your countrymen.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate this. And thanks everyone for being with Ukraine together. Uh, Ukrainian people are strong, but we still need your support, and we together would be able to win, stand, and welcome again everyone, whole world in Ukraine to show you Ukrainian hospitality and Ukrainian soul. Thank you.